I want to show you how I made this collar necklace. It's based on a tutorial that I did last year called Dragon Stones, and I've done it in a necklace form, slightly different than the way I did my dragon stones, which were carved beads. That's this bracelet here, but it's done with black clay. I'm using Premo. You'll need Inka Gold in the platinum color. You want a really bright silver color. If you don't have Inka Gold, you could use other types of, these are wax-based pastes. You could use a bright silver paint as well. It would probably work just as well. And then you're going to need alcohol inks in your choice of colors. For this necklace, I used the Pinata Sunbright Yellow, but you could use the Adirondack Yellow just as well. I used the Lettuce, and I used Stream. And the only reason why I used the yellow is I wanted some of the green to be brighter, so I put the yellow down first and then put the green on top. But the choices of alcohol ink that you use is totally up to you. I may try my next one, or the one I'm going to demonstrate, in some other colors, just for something different, because I hate doing the same thing over. And you're going to need ball tools. I'm using the Sculpey ball tools, the large one and the medium-sized one. You just need 2 sizes, is plenty. You'll need your regular blades, a couple of paint brushes, your roller, rubbing alcohol. And when after you've put the Inka Gold on and cured it, you're going to use something like a sanding sponge. So I've got a couple here. One is for fingernails, one is you buy in a hardware store. Emery boards would work, or a stiff nail file will work. Just something that doesn't have a lot of give, and it'll skim the top surface. And you'll see what I mean when I get to that point. But this is, it's very easy to do, but it's a lot of steps. So I thought I'd do it maybe in a couple of videos. So the very first video I'm going to do is showing you how to make the form itself. So we'll move this aside. And I have a couple of methods that you can do it. And the simplest one, and the one I prefer, is I bought a metal collar that it had a chain and a lobster claw on it, and it's meant to go around your neck. And I use it as my template and just peel it off. So this I bought, I think I got my local bead store to order it for me. I have seen them on eBay. You look under metal collars or bib necklaces, might be another good way to search for it. If I find one, I'll put a link for it in the description box. So that's the easiest way to do it. Now there's other ways you can do it that are a little more complex, but will still get you there. Another way you can do it, I've got one prepared here, is this is for a stove. And I bought this one at a dollar store, so it's a really cheap metal one, but I'm using it as a baking source. And I've taken my strip of clay on here already and just curved it out and cut out basically where I think I want it to go. I've done this, I did this, well, for a couple of years before I got my other metal form. And it works, and you can do whatever size you want with it. Takes a lot of fiddling with it, but anyways, that works. And another thing you can do, I've got a big spaghetti bowl here, and this gives you a really nice curve. So you can put your clay on there, and because the clay is just freshly conditioned, so it's going to be nice and malleable, and you can just sort of curve it up. And you can draw yourself a template. You can put that on your neck and everything and get it to fit exactly. But that'll give you an idea where you want to go. So let's say for this one, I'll use the top surface, and maybe I'll make it a little wider on the bottom. So I'll just take my knife and follow my template. There are template PDFs on the net. I'll look for a link to that, and I'll post that also. So from the other side, I want the end wider. And I'll just swing it around a little bit. And come around from the other side. Oops. And then move that excess clay. And take your template off. And that gives you a place to start anyways. But this way I would spend a bit more time fiddling with this and getting it just right. And then after it was cured, I'd probably spend some time sanding it into a nicer round shape. But that'll get you there anyways. But my preferred method is with the metal collar. So that's what I'm going to show you. So again, I prepared a strip of black clay. And you could do it in pieces, but much better if you can avoid that. So I've made myself a really long strip. And I'm encouraging it to curve around. And I'll press it down. And this is going to be your middle layer. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Then as soon as you've got it about where you want it, you can take your blade and start trimming some of it off, because it'll get in your way. So that's what's nice about the metal piece, is you've got a line to follow. Okay, I'll just make sure that's well stuck before I do the bottom edge. Just get rid of some of this. Oops, helps if you turn your blade right. There you go. So if it comes unstuck like it did, just take a second and stick it back on. So I'm just doing a rough trim right now. I'll spend a little more time refining it in a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to smooth it out a bit. Like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't really want any lumps and bumps to interfere with your next layer. So now I'll do that final trim. And I'm just running my blade right along the metal. I'm not angling it or anything, I'm just trying to get it right by the metal. There, one final smoothing out, and that's ready for the oven. So these can be made up ahead of time. A lot of techniques could stand having a rigid middle layer. When we do the next layer, when I did that last one, I left the this layer on the metal form, and it worked really well to have something rigid to press against. So I'm going to suggest we do that again. If you have a rigid form, or if it's on a bowl, maybe just leave it on the bowl. The necklace that I'm going to show you is a technique that you can apply to pendants, earrings, anything. So if you have no desire to make a collar, you might enjoy doing the technique as a pendant instead. So that's ready to be baked. So I'm going to bake that. You don't have to bake it for much more than 45 minutes. So I'm going to suggest that. I usually have my oven set it for an hour and 6 minutes regardless, but it doesn't have to be for that long. But so that's it for this part. So this is part 1, and we'll do part 2 when this is cured. And maybe I'll release this one now so you can get a head start on it. So hopefully you'll join me for part 2 of the Dragonstone necklace. And see you then. Bye.